When we think of automation, we probably think of this. Large, expensive, stupid machines doing the same thing over and over and over again. They were scary at first, no doubt, but fewer and fewer people now work in factories, which is good. They're dirty, they're dangerous, and sometimes they're even deadly. This isn't the kind of automation I'm going to talk about today, though. The YouTuber CGP Grey made a very popular video on automation. You should all watch it. And in No Smart prompted this speech, and as such I'm going to take some material from it. With the research I've done here and my own background as a computer engineering major, I hope to open a dialogue about massive unemployment as a result of automation. In short, I plan to tell you that the bots are here and what it means for us. The bots are here. We're going to start, first and foremost, with automatic cars, or autos, as we call them. First, it's working. This is Google's car. You may have heard of the Google project. Now, their cars have been driven across 4 states in California, Nevada, Michigan, and Florida to the tune of 700,000 miles, accident-free. No accidents. That started in June 2011 in Nevada. So in that same time, from 2011 to last year, 2014, the number of people who have died on the road is 90,000. So it's easy to see this benefit in the same amount of time having no accidents. That number, by the way, is thanks to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. It's also easy to see the financial aspect of this. Just a couple days ago, 4 days ago, we get this. Uber teams up with Carnegie Mellon on self-driving car research. So you probably heard of Uber. They're a company that is a ride-sharing service, but not getting into that. And you can see they're teaming up with their own Carnegie Mellon to make driverless cars that they can use for their business. And it obviously comes to mind, what are we going to do? What's the impact that this is going to have on truckers? And it's important to note that in transportation, 4 million people are employed. Now just keep that number in your heads. There are lots of other fields where bots are taking hold, obviously. You all know these cashiers. They're always so great to deal with. They trade stocks. This one in particular is called Butterbot, and this one is used for Bitcoin trading in particular, but they trade stocks all the time. As Gray says in his video, the floor of the New York Stock Exchange is now largely a TV set, not filled with traders doing their day jobs. They can replace lawyer work. You see this big mountain of paperwork that he has to go through? A bot can do that. That's called discovery. That happens before trial. They can replace doctors. If you've heard of Watson, he's IBM's supercomputer AI, and Watson won Jeopardy if you're interested. And what he also does is collect all of our medical information from across the world and present it in easily readable diagnoses. They even replace writers. A surprising amount of written word was written by bots, including 8% of Wikipedia articles. I know that because of an article hopefully written by a real person named Doug Main at Popular Science. Now, up until this point, we've been talking about machines that do one very specific thing, but now we're going to talk about something different, Baxter. Baxter is a general purpose robot. He's got 2 arms and a face, and he can see. Baxter can work anywhere from in homes and daycares, you see him folding a shirt, down to factories. The list is endless. Baxter can be trained instead of programmed, so you show him how to do something a couple times and then he'll pick it up. He's kind of like the robots that we were promised on the Jetsons. He's cheap. He's cheap. The upfront cost is less than one worker's yearly salary, and then after that, all we have is electricity costs. As Gray says, 1/10 the speed is still economical at 1/100th the price. Now I understand that this is a lot to take in, and it might be natural to reject it. But here's where we talk about these objections. So the first thing you might say, the unions will stop it. Now, I think they'll try, but history is full of people who have tried to fight technology and not been successful. Economics always wins in these cases. How do you think the unions felt about this? So, you might also say, well, what's the big deal, eh? Changes like this have always helped us go from hard work to easy work. This was us circa a long time ago. Everyone had to do this. And now we don't, and that's awesome. But what's different about this one? Why is it that we're not just going to go into better work after this? So what I'm going to do to answer this is talk about the Great Depression. I asked you guys this question on the survey. What do you think was the unemployment rate in the Great Depression? The average answer was 46%. The real answer is 25. Now, a good bit lower than what you guys thought, but just keep that number in mind for later. So what's different about this change from any other change is the sheer amount of work that can be replaced. In his book, Robots Will Steal Your Job, But That's Okay, Federico Pistono put together this list. These are the top 33 most popular professions in the US today. All of them, except for this one, computer programmers, can be automated. Maybe even the last one can be automated. And what we have here represents 45% of the labor force. So you can do the math. That's a lot more than the Great Depression, even if just all of those go away. And we can see by this that new occupations aren't likely to show up in the meantime. All of these, except of course programmers, have existed in some form or another for the past 100 years. So I don't think that we should bank on new jobs just coming out of nowhere. Only one in this list has come about in the past 100 years. And this might be a little more cynical, but I think you could say that we are primarily a body and a mind, right? So what else do we really have to offer? You could say that if mechanical muscles allow us to move into thinking work, then mechanical minds will allow us to move into what kind of work exactly? The mind is the last thing we have. So you still might be like this guy. You might be like, whatever, I'll be fine. You didn't mention my job. You might just be YOLOing it. You may be right. You may be fine. But in economics, even if you have a job and no one else has a job, people need to buy things to keep capitalism going. There's this great story. Henry Ford is taking union boss Walter Reuther through his factory and showing him his mechanical arms. Ford says to Reuther, Walter, how do you think you're going to get these robots to pay union dues? And Walter replies to him, Ford, how do you think you're going to get them to buy cars? In short, we've gone over the bots that are here and addressed why this news is important. And it might have scared you a little bit, but that's okay. Know that on the contrary, this is good news. Advancement like this is what makes standards of living rise for everyone. I believe that we can head into an age of abundance if we begin policy decisions now. If only we knew that resistance is futile. Thank you.